Let's go ahead and take a look at some climate headlines with Felicia. Hey, Felicia.
Hey, guys. Thanks. Yeah, let's take a look at this. The Biden is talking about what you can expect across your area. Yesterday, we saw a bunch of new records tied and broken across the Northeast. Baltimore at BWI actually had its hottest day in 3 years when it hit 100 degrees. Washington Dulles hit it at 100 there in D.C., Philly 95. So you can see all of these records that fell or were at least tied yesterday. And the heat continues today. For some of us, it's going to continue through tomorrow into the weekend as well. You can see the heat advisories that we've got up, so make sure you're taking plenty of breaks and being cognizant of that. The high temperatures today, once again, well above average, mid and upper 90s, up and down that 95 corridor, so we'll be sweating it out. For the records today, we do have that possibility for a record in Wilmington, so Delaware, you're getting in on this. Newark, 96 is the forecast, the old record 95, so you can see still, once again, we're looking at that possibility for record-breaking heat here across the Northeast, but it's not just here. We've got that heat dome just heavily in place, in charge of our weather across the southern plains. And so we've got heat alerts up here, excessive heat warnings for cities like Dallas down through Waco, much of Texas, at least in some sort of heat advisory or heat alert, which could...
Alicia, what's going on?
Hey, guys, we're going to talk tropics over here because it is still pretty active out there. We've got a new tropical depression. We've, of course, got Lee, lots of eyes on Lee, and Hurricane Hova over there. Such an impressive storm, the way that has intensified over the past 36 hours or so. Let's talk a little bit more about Lee and Tropical Depression 14 here. In terms of Hurricane Lee, now at Category 2, winds at 105 miles per hour, expected to continue increasing in strength. Now, right now, it's just under 900 miles east of the northern Leeward Islands. As it continues moving west-northwestward, you're going to start to notice some of those increased swells. I mean, you're probably already noticing, but you'll really notice increased swells and beach erosion for places like Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, especially the northern Leeward Islands as well. Look at the forecast. By Saturday morning, 160 miles per hour, guys. This is going to be a beast moving through the western Atlantic here and then just kind of grazing north of the islands. Still something to really keep a close eye on. Certainly lots of indirect impacts will be felt from Lee. Here's where we are in terms of our tropical cyclone names. The next one would be Margot. So probably will end up seeing a Margot before all is said and done because we still have 63% of the season left to go. As we know, September usually peaks right around September 10th. That's our statistical peak typically. So we're not even to the statistical peak just yet. And all the doors are open in September. You know, we start showing you these maps in May and June and say, oh, normally it forms here or here. But guys, September, and as we're seeing,
Doesn't matter.
You can't throw a dart at the map.
Exactly. All right, Felicia, thanks for that.
Hey, if you guys spend all day on virtual meetings,
Felicia.
Yeah, guys, we've got some severe thunderstorms bubbling up out there, and that's going to be the story as we move through the afternoon and the evening. Going to want to keep an eye to the sky across much of the Northeast. The storms could get feisty, as we're seeing already. A couple severe thunderstorm warnings in this pocket of storms that's moving through West Virginia up through Pennsylvania, portions of Maryland getting in on that as well. Right now, this severe thunderstorm warning, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts possible within this storm. So the cities of Broad Top, East Providence, West Providence, all included until 1 p.m. You can see it just 96 corridor, and then another severe thunderstorm warning just south of that one for these of Cape and Bridge and Gainsborough. Guys, I'm going to have more on what we can expect in terms of the severe weather throughout the rest of the afternoon and evening. That's coming up next. So if you're in that area, stick around.
Thank you.
Thanks, Felicia.
All right. Hey.
Where is there going to be nice weather for garage sailing?
Maybe by Sunday across the Northeast. It's still a little too... Isn't that when they normally have them on the weekends?
Yeah, weekends.
Oh, yeah.
Early,
too.
Yeah,
You got to go early.
Get out there early. You don't want to get out there right now. We've got some severe thunderstorms. So let's talk about that. You can see these storms lighting up the map here, moving through portions of Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, up through Pennsylvania. Quick look at this severe thunderstorm warning. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So the cities of Broad Top, East Providence until 1 o'clock. So that's going to be expiring soon. A couple more severe thunderstorm warnings here for the city of Cape and Bridge. You could have some hail within that one, as well as 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And then to cities like Winchester until 1:30. Again, some hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. This is lifting to the northeast, so these storms are going to continue lifting northeast. Here's where we have that possibility for severe storms as we move through the day today, this afternoon into this evening. Those storms are going to be lighting up the map, damaging winds and a bit of hail going to be the biggest problems here. Some of us will be dealing with that as we're getting off of work, so just keep an eye to the sky. Know that any of those storms that get going could reach severe limits. Want to touch on this real quick. You can see where we've got the excessive heat warnings across portions of Texas and heat advisories for much of the Gulf Coast, Louisiana, Atlanta, stretching in through Mobile. Now, ERCOT is asking Texans to reduce electrical usage today from 5 to 9 p.m. due to these temperatures, high demand, low wind, declining solar power. So when you're talking about temperatures like this, these are the actual temperatures. I know it's really hard to be willing to cut back that AC, but it's to help everyone and reduce stress on the grid. That is what ERCOT's asking for. You can see the temperatures are going to feel even hotter than that, feeling like 114 in Corpus Christi, 112 in Houston, Dallas feeling like 109 at the peak of the afternoon and evening. Quick look at where else we have heat alerts back to the Northeast. You might be wanting a storm, just not a severe storm. With this heat that we've got going on today, that heat advisory continuing for big cities like Philly and New York this afternoon after record-breaking heat yesterday. So a lot going on out there, whether you're getting the heat or the storms.
But cooling this weekend.
Yes.
Yeah,
for garage sailing.
That's the main thing.
Never heard of it. Now, what do you do this weekend? I'm